Hello folks, so in celebration of the channel hitting 1,000 subscribers, I opened up micro portfolio reviews, so one project each from your portfolio with a question, and we'll look at it and review it. So I figured 2 people per video, we'll see, and might be able to get 1 or 2 guests on. So over the next sort of 10 days, we're going to be going through these 18 folks. Thanks for submitting. And we're going to review some of the work. So it's going to be, from what I believe, it'll be a mix of environment and lighting artists, maybe 3D artists as well. So that being said, let's get into it. So first chat. I've got Miro here just in case. So let's have a look. So Daniel, I believe you are first. Or unless I got it wrong, actually. Ah, yes, I believe you're first, Daniel. So there we go. 1 out of 18. There we go. I'd love to know what the issues that you found. How can I improve it? Also, I believe this scene is lacking in lighting, so you're looking for a environment and lighting art sort of look at it. Okay, cool. So let's take in what we see. So let's just go through some of your shots. So it looks like some sort of mine town environment. Oh, Ballon Village. Okay. Modular breakdown, asset zoo, showcase of shader tech, which looks to be maybe some sort of RGB mask, which, yes, it is. Cool. So, yep. It's pretty cool to see. Pretty clean. Okay, so let's have a look and see what we think. So, initial impressions is clean. The breakdown is pretty clean. You're showing a lot of stuff that you got, which is cool. No, I don't think like many people will really look at this in detail, but what it does show is it shows how organized you are and how you lay out your shaders. So I think it acts more of a how you organize versus I'm going to look at every node that you've got. This is good. It would have been cool to see the actual masks being used. So you're doing an RGB mask. So it would have been cool to see what each channel of the RGB is doing outside of the video. So the actual images and how you pack them as well. So that could go on top of that as some nice polish, but it's more of a nitpick. This is fine. I mean, I can see the the sky there. So again, another nitpick if you want to clean up the presentation of it. This sort of presentation looks cool. Yep, no issues with that. This looks cool. I like the way it's tilted in. Just goes to show you the vast amount of work you put into the project as well, which is nice. And then a video, beauty shot, beauty shot, beauty shot. Okay. Yeah, it would be nice to also see your texture maps. Either not as either as 2D or shader balls, because you don't have any shader ball breakdown here, or just your G buffer view. So in Unreal you can go in and you can click albedo only and all that sort of stuff. So let's have a look. See, so I mean, from an environment art point of view, you're doing stuff correctly. You're showing good breakdown of things, modularity, asset breakdown, masks. From a set dressing point of view, some things that kind of stand out are like the grass. So the grass clumps are kind of, well, first they're growing out of the rock, right? As opposed to maybe the cracks of the rock. So I'm not sure if that would be 100% accurate, but depends on your reference. And also the shading of them, they stand out a little bit. So you can especially see in like these areas here. There we we go. You can see in like in here, it's like I see that it's a plane just dropped in a few times, right? You could probably do some more variation because this all reads as like noise. It's hard to see, you know, the form in here. So making some of the shards of grass or whatever it is a bit darker, some a bit lighter. Maybe color variation as well because they're all brown. But yeah, these do kind of stick out a bit too much. And plus, you want them to, if they're just coming out the rock, you know, why are they coming out the rock? You know, make sure the storytelling makes sense in that regard. Let's have a look. So barrel texture here looks a bit weird. Looks a bit low resolution. Also, these metal bars look pretty flat. So you probably want to make them a bit chunkier. So this is why chunky edges are important in environment art. Because right now this just reads like super flat. So you'd want to see more of that bevel in there. And check your scale as well. Because the scale, especially these steps. I'm trying to imagine a person going up these. But then if the person goes up these and then they're up here, does their scale make sense here? You know, so just be careful of that as well. Got something going on here. Some sort of detail normal that is the opposite direction of the way the wood grain's going. So be careful of that. Your textures up here are a little bit blurry and low res looking. So check your texture density and see if you can add a detail normal or scale up the detail normal so that you have a noisier normal map going across this stuff, all right? Let's have a look here. Yeah, it's just working on blending, really, I'd say. So you've got sort of this harsh transition where it goes from grass or whatever it is straight to floor. So if you can try and build up some sort of vertex painting, so that instead of just going from grass to floor, you go from grass to some sort of vertex painting of a different type of dirt, or maybe signs of a textured grass that is red as well. Anything that kind of eases the harsh transition from where your grass is. Like here, you've got the rock, right? You've got the rock, and then you've got the grass hiding where the rock intersects into the floor. That's really nice, that sort of stuff. More of that, basically, but on the grass itself using the texture blends, and you'll be good. And let's see. Yep. Alright, yeah, let's have another look at some of the other shots. So this one, so a few things here that probably need to look at. So one is the albedo brightness of your wood might be too dark. We'll have to see the G buffer view of the albedo. And also your bricks read a bit noisy. I'm not sure why. It's like they've got a very strong bumpy normal map on. Or it could be the fact that the color and the value difference is so drastically different from how dark this is to how light this is. It's making it stand out more. You can see in that when I desaturate it, it's so dark, the wood. So just be wary of that, is what I'd say. Be wary how bumpy your normal maps are as well, because this is quite blobby and bumpy, which usually is over sculpting, right? So when you sculpt wood or you sculpt any assets, often there is a habit to sculpt too much, and when you sculpt too much, it gets blobby. like it is here. So the less sculpting, the better. So if you're just going in, chipping edges, dropping some alpha, wood grain on and chipping those back, the more minimal you are with your sculpts, the more you'll retain the juice in your sculpts. So okay, that's enough for environment art. Lighting wise, it's obvious where your focal point is in this shot. In this shot, it's not too obvious where you want me to look. This shot again, everything's quite evenly lit. This shot is a bit better. But again, if you have to like move your light around in each shot to make it look really good, you know, don't be afraid to do that. So but yeah, I mean, lighting wise, it's hard to say because you can see everything, which is cool. Just in some of these shots, like, would be good to get some God rays coming in some of them. In this shot, this seems to be a main shot, so let's look at this. I'd say there is a bit of a value structure going on, so this is darker, which is good. So it frames into the image. I just think that maybe if I zoom out, you're not getting much white value or like white contrast in the image. So it kind of goes from like dark to gray, but then there's no other layer of tone, right? So one way you can try and get this in, right, if this is dark and these areas are as they are, you can brighten up your sky so that your sky becomes a bit brighter, so then you get the separation. So have a look at value structures and how you can get that in. So you have it a little bit here, right? The sky is quite bright, and then it's the building, and then it's the foreground. So you could even like vignette helps with this, but this could, you know, this stuff could be darker. Then this would be the same value as this, and then your sky would be brighter. So in some images you are getting it, but it needs pushing a little bit more, I'd say. So you could probably make this framing element darker. Vignette will help make the sky brighter. Again, see if you can do something with the lighting. So see if you can, you've got this, you've got this large sort of vertical structure of a mountain, right? And you're not really doing much with it lighting wise. It's a little bit flat, despite having some value structure in there. So usually when you have things that are quite tall and vertical, if you can aim to try and get, you know, some of it in, like you've got the signs of it here, like where the lighting is, you kind of want to push that, right? So you want to have like almost some of it in light and then have it go down to shadow at the bottom, or on this shadow side, push the shadows more so there's more separation. Right now it's quite flat in that regard. So see if you can push the contrast of that. And then this shot, the sky needs brightening as well, I would say. So yeah, those are my notes overall for that piece. Thanks for submitting, and looking forward to seeing what you do with it, Daniel. Thanks for submitting. We'll do another one. So that took about 13 minutes, and we were kind of being quite quick with it. So I think 2 people per video over the next few days will be good. So yeah, cheers. Thanks very much, Daniel. So we'll do one more. First 2 pictures, if possible, if only one first, please. So let's have a look. So this is probably, I assume, has multiple pieces in. So first 2, if only one first one. So because they are quick relights, we can look at the first 2 for sure. So this looks like more of a lighting piece. So I think the first thing is, got to see the reference. When you're doing studies like this, it's really hard to critique it if we don't know what you're trying to achieve. because then I will move into obviously my subjective personal style of how I think this would be pushed. But we need to see the reference. Reference is key, reference is king, and ideally we need to see how you're using the lights. Because it's in Unreal Engine, but I don't know if it's Lumen. I don't know if it's dynamic. Probably wouldn't be baked. I don't know if it's Path Tracer. So under every shot you do, we need to see the light breakdown. We need to see how you've lit it, not just the images of how it's lit. That's very important as a lighting artist. So I will give my subjective feedback on what I think without knowing the reference. So if we drop in Doggo-chan. So actually, let's drop in both your images because lighting wise here. So let's drop in both of these. Let's just take them in. Zoom out, look at them. Zoom in, look at them. Desaturate, look at them. So when I look at these two, I think you've got lights in place that are highlighting and separating characters, which is good. I just think it's a little bit flat. And even though you've got the lights in there, the reason it looks a bit flat because if I go into the black and white, the most contrast is coming from this character because of the hoodie and the umbrella here. But some of your fog is flattening the image. So your fog, which starts about here, is flattening a bit, probably because it's grey as well. So you want to either push that back further or maybe tint the color. And with this one, what's making this flat is this fill light. So everything that is filling this doggo is making it flat. So you've got this red sort of rim light on the character. If you want to create contrast, then your fill light should be a lot lower. It's very, very, it doesn't even feel like it's at nighttime, right? It's very, very ambient lit. So, which is, again, I think is the issue in some of these, right? So they're reading a little bit flat in terms of the contrast. So yeah, I would darken this fill light so that the red is doing most of the work. And then for this one, I think it's probably a case of the fog and maybe looking at your post-processing, because this reads quite well, to be fair. This has got quite a lot of juice to it. Then the middle here. I don't know what you want to look at, essentially, because this, yeah, it's obvious I want to look at the doggo. Just be careful how much space is between the head and the border, because it's kind of almost cutting off. Doesn't give much breathing room, whereas here you've got a nice space between the border of the image. It would be good if you had a bit more space there. So drop down the light that's filling the dog, and maybe up the gain. The gain on the midtones might give you a bit more contrast on this, is what I would say. But cool. And then, yeah, like I said, without reference, it's really hard. It's really hard to know what you want to go for. I'm just looking at some of these. Yeah. Yeah, no, those would be my main notes. So to combat flatness, you can push the midtones in the post-process. Also, you want to have a good amount of contrast in your lighting. If I go into black and white, I zoom out, it's hard to tell what's happening with the dog. Like from here, you probably won't be able to tell it's a dog. From here, so let's get a bit better. It's hard to kind of read, right? You want the dog to come out and be separate from the background. Like I say, vignette will help you as well. Get a very subtle vignette in there. Doesn't have to be too strong. And it's just like darkening of stuff, right? So the value here is quite light, so I would darken this a little bit. Just darken the shadows a bit to pop stuff more is the main feedback I'd have for this one, as well as the reference. You know, get your reference in and show us what you're meant to be going for. Otherwise, it becomes quite subjective with a lot of this stuff. So those would be my main notes for you, Juan. But yeah, cool. So hopefully that helps with those first two pieces. That puts us at about 20 minutes. I'll end the video here. Every few days we will do 2 people out of the 18. And there's lots of good advice in here that can be shared. But if you are catching these early and you're seeing some of the feedback of like, show your reference, show this, show that, it could be a good point to add that before I reach your pieces in the future. So I'll do the other 2 folks tomorrow, which will be Saturday, and then the other 2 Sunday. So we'll do 2 a day and we'll upload them to the channel. Hope that helps. For now, peace.